Now we will discuss perception of written language. There are different writing systems, but before we look at these writing systems, we have to understand the very origin of writing. Until 1800, writing and not the spoken language was of importance to the researchers. Speech was ignored, despite the fact that language or written language, the lots of prestige was attached to written language. Spoken language is still considered the primary language, and written language was considered secondary to the spoken language. Now, the reasons for that is that written language has to be taught. That is unlike spoken language, because spoken language is something that one does not need to be taught. You look at the infants, when they start to speak, they start to speak small words or maybe broken words. But for writing, they need to be taught specific writing styles, specific grammatical and syntactic rules that needs to be understood, that needs to be practiced to come up with correct form of writing. Then the second is that all human groups that have ever emerged possess spoken language. And the third point was that there has not been a single theory so far that could specify or that could establish the very origin of speech development. The true writing actually started in not less than 6,000 years ago, well after the start of Neolithic revolution, which is considered as the agricultural revolution, where men shifted their focus from hunting to settling down and farming. Then we have the pictures having its root in the form of writing, where the pictures are used to explain the concepts, and that is what we called the pictogram. Now, looking at the different systems, you have the orthography and logography, syllabary, and alphabets. We will discuss these shortly. Now, looking at, first of all, before we move on to the levels of written language processing, we must look at all the systems that we have just introduced. An orthography is a set of conventions for writing a language. Basically, it includes spellings, hyphenation, capitalization, word breaks, emphasis, and punctuation. So orthography is primarily concerned with the conventions for writing language. Then we talk about logography system. Logography system deals with the logogram and logograph, which is a written character, and that represents a word or a phrase, which also includes Chinese characters, that includes Japanese kanji as well. So the use of logogram in writing is called logography. Syllabary is a set of written symbols that are used to represent the syllables of words of a language. Writing systems that use syllabaries wholly or in part include Japanese language, etc. Alphabet is a standard set of letters that represent the phonemes of any spoken language it is used to write. So you have the orthography, then you have the logography, syllabary, and alphabet. These are the different systems of writing. Looking at the levels of written language processing, you have the feature level, the letter level, and the word level. At the feature level, the stimulus is represented in terms of the physical features that comprise a letter of the alphabet. What do we mean by that? For instance, the letter K may be represented as a vertical line. It is represented as a vertical line, and two diagonal lines. R may be coded as a vertical line, a diagonal line, and a curved portion, and so on. So these constitute the feature level, where the stimulus is represented in terms of the physical features that comprise a letter of the alphabet. Then you have letter level. At the letter level, the visual stimulus is represented more abstractly as an identity separate from its physical manifestation. As the word is recognized, for example, the stimulus may be represented as an F, regardless of whether it is typewritten or handwritten. So here you see the identity separates from its physical manifestation, where the stimulus is represented, for example, F, regardless of whether it is typewritten or handwritten. Then you have word level. There is word level of processing, in which an array of features and letters is recognized as a familiar word. For example, as the word is recognized, various properties of the word, such as its spellings, pronunciations, meaning, they become available to us. So a word which is recognized on the basis of its spellings, in the basis of pronunciation, meaning, and all these things become available to you when you recognize a specific word. So word level processing is where all these different features and letters is recognized as a familiar word. To conclude, processing of written language exists at three main levels: the feature, letter, and word, with different writing systems.